Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
All right, folks, we welcome you back here to the Hump Day Wednesday edition. I'm Dustin Staples. We appreciate your time and your company as always. We hope you've enjoyed the nice summer, spring-like weather over the last couple of weeks. It sure has felt like not February nor March, as we have begun meteorological March, is basically meaning over the next 3 months between now and April 30th, or excuse me, May 31st, we'll see our climatology aspect of the month of the next three months, as again the first astronomical day of spring does begin on March 21st. So we're roughly now 18 days away from that starting point as well. So if you're a warm weather fan, I tell you, we've got some news coming for you. News flash here, right? We're maybe going to a bit of a different scenario as we get towards that time frame. But in the meantime, if you're doing any grilling or anything out and about tonight, you should have no weather worries except to see increasing clouds. Now, if you've been noticing the last several weeks in the sky, we've had Mars and Jupiter that have been visible for the last several nights in a row. And again, that most likely will be seeing Mercury and Venus again, part of Mars, kind of rotating its cycle out in the course in the orbit of the rotation of that planet. So this month we'll see Venus and Mars, and occasionally we'll see Jupiter in the nighttime sky. So that's what those bright twinkling stars have been for the last several nights. The only thing that's going to be bright and twinkling, if you see any clear sky tonight, will be the moon minus those planets. We'll see increasing clouds coming into this evening. Temperatures are going to remain mild for us as well. So if you're doing anything outdoors tonight, maybe a quick walk or grilling or out in the patio, whatever you're doing, you should have no weather worries to be concerned about. Moving on now to your other overnight lows. Again, we'll see rain increasing after the midnight hour. So unfortunately, a wet morning commute for our bus and work crew out there heading out tomorrow morning. So between about 5 and 7 a.m. it's going to be very wet as we'll see rain, the first wave of this moving in for us. That's why our lows are going to be dipping in the mid-50s. Again, these are what average highs should be looking like for this time of the month. Right now, our average lows should be staying in the mid-30s. Moving on ahead now to your 4 out of 10 Thursday forecast again. So we'll see rain moving in at times, heavy possibly. So if you do wake up and hear the rain kind of coming down at a high rate of speed, it's not because we're seeing severe weather with it. It's just because it's coming down heavily and there's a lot of moisture available in these clouds. It's also going to be slightly humid too, so you may be noticing an increase in the humidity as you're doing your things in the morning. We will get a break in the afternoon before another wave of rain does begin to move in for our region. So we'll break us down here for you real quick. Again, tomorrow morning as you're waking up, getting the kids off the bus, as you're heading out to work, you're going to be seeing rain likely at times, heavily falling from occasion. So just keep that in mind. We'll see a break in the activity by mid-afternoon, so it's early morning, mid-afternoon, say right around 9, 10, 11, most of the activity will begin to shut off. We'll just be left with cloud cover at times, and then again the second and third wave of rain will be moving in for us later tomorrow night. This one could be the potential. We got to keep a close eye on the possibility of some severe weather that has been implemented for our region. We'll talk more about that in a second, though. Another warm day in the making for us, despite the rain out there in the morning. So I will say, if you're having any recess, if you're doing it, if you got resources outside, like if you're doing an event, bring them on in. I would say tonight, if you can, if you have to leave them outside, make sure they're kind of huddled under a shaded or garage or some tent area. If you're doing anything outside tomorrow, bring those indoors for you. But throughout the early afternoon, we'll see a break in the clouds before another round of rain just moves in, running about 15 to almost 18 degrees above average for this time of the month. Moving on ahead to those exciting changes, or I wouldn't call them exciting changes. Better yet, if you're a snow lover or if you're a winter lover, you're loving this map. Something we have not seen in over almost 200 and some days, because the United States, well, especially part of the other world, has been shifting jet stream. So look at how much warm air is in place. So what's happening now, that warm ridge of air that we have just been stuck across much of the United States has finally shifted south to allowing some oozing of cold air in place for us. And again, this goes out to March 14th. Between now and the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, we are projecting some below average temperatures. Now, here's the thing we need to get right with this. I'm not saying we're going to get snow. We need to get precipitation to line up with this to get us some sort of wintry weather. So again, the cold air is going to be in place for us for in much of the U.S. except for our friends well down the south here for us. They're going to be seeing much warmer than average temperatures. So if you're doing any trips scheduled to Florida, I tell you what, you're going to pick a good week to be doing any traveling, or down towards Corpus Christi, down towards New Orleans, there along the southern United States. You're going to be seeing pretty warmer conditions, but the rest of us are going to be seeing some much below to well below average temperatures. You kind of see the color coordinating scale there, likely below average for our friends out to the west. That will most likely begin to shift and move eastward as we get towards mid-month. So there you go. This is what we're forecasting. It's going to be actively wet. Does that entail snow? We will have to wait and see as we do get closer to that, but there are some stratospheric and atmospheric changes coming into play as we have finally been able to push that warm air well to the south of the United States. So other than that, get ready for a wet morning, and then we'll see temperatures in the 70s once again. We'll most likely see rain, our second round of rain, move in late in the evening hours as you make your way towards Thursday night and Friday morning, which could possibly prompt some severe weather for our region. We'll keep you updated as we get closer to Friday. Take care. We'll have a lot more coming up right after this.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.